Scene opens, you're sitting in a comfortable chair, maybe by a window or a fireplace, with a warm, friendly demeanor. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's a story that has been told for generations, in different forms, across different cultures. It's a simple tale, but one that I think speaks volumes about kindness, gratitude, and the surprising ways the universe works. It's the story of a man and a lion, and it begins, as many great stories do, in an unexpected place. Our story starts with a man named Androcles. Now, Androcles wasn't a king or a hero. He was a slave in ancient Rome, and his life was incredibly hard. His master was cruel, the work was backbreaking, and his days were filled with misery. He dreamed of freedom, of a life where he could make his own choices. One day, beaten down and desperate, he saw an opportunity. He decided to risk everything. Under the cover of darkness, Androcles escaped his master's villa and fled into the wilderness, hoping to find refuge in the vast, untamed forests. For days, he wandered, surviving on wild berries and whatever scraps he could find. The forest was both his sanctuary and his prison. It was a lonely and frightening existence. One afternoon, exhausted and seeking shelter from the scorching sun, he stumbled upon a large cave. He cautiously peered inside, hoping it was empty, but it wasn't. To his absolute terror, he heard a low-pained groan coming from the shadows. His heart pounded in his chest. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he saw the source of the sound, a huge, magnificent lion. Every instinct screamed at Androcles to run. A lion, this was surely the end. But he froze. He noticed something was wrong. The lion wasn't aggressive. It wasn't poised to attack. It was lying on its side, whimpering softly, and it was holding up one of its massive paws. It looked directly at Androcles, its eyes not filled with rage, but with a plea for help. Curiosity and a flicker of compassion overcame his fear. He took a tentative step closer. The lion didn't move. It just kept groaning, nudging its paw forward. Androcles knelt down, his hands trembling. He could now see the problem clearly. A huge, thick thorn, as long as his finger, was deeply embedded in the soft pad of the lion's paw. The area around it was swollen and red. The poor creature was in immense pain. At that moment, Androcles saw not a fearsome predator, but a fellow being in agony. He knew he had to do something. Gathering all his courage, he spoke to the lion in a soft, soothing voice. "Easy there, big fella, I'm not going to hurt you. Let me see if I can help." He gently took the lion's enormous paw in his hands. The lion flinched but allowed him to hold it. With a firm, steady grip, Androcles grabbed the end of the thorn. He took a deep breath and gave a sharp, strong pull. The thorn came out. The lion let out a roar, but this time it wasn't a roar of anger, but of relief. Immediately, the great beast's demeanor changed. It stopped whimpering. It began to lick Androcles' hands, rubbing its head against his legs like a giant house cat. The gratitude was unmistakable. Androcles had taken a huge risk, choosing compassion over fear, and had earned a powerful, unlikely friend. From that day on, the two were inseparable. The lion would hunt for Androcles, bringing him food, and at night they would sleep side by side in the cave, the man protected by his fearsome guardian. For a time, Androcles was truly happy, but this peace wasn't to last. Eventually, a group of soldiers sent out from Rome to recapture escaped slaves found Androcles. Despite the lion's fierce attempts to protect him, he was outnumbered and captured. He was dragged back to Rome in chains, his heart heavy with the loss of his friend and his freedom. His punishment was to be the cruelest of all. He was sentenced to be thrown to the beasts in the Colosseum for the entertainment of the Roman public. The day of his execution arrived. Androcles was led into the center of the massive arena. The roar of the crowd was deafening. He stood there, alone and terrified, squinting in the bright sunlight, awaiting his fate. The gate at the far end of the arena creaked open. A huge, hungry lion, starved for days to make it more ferocious, bounded out. It let out a thunderous roar that silenced the crowd. It spotted Androcles and began to charge, its powerful muscles rippling. This was it. Androcles closed his eyes, ready for the end. But the final, fatal blow never came. Instead, he felt something wet and rough on his face. He opened his eyes in disbelief. The lion wasn't attacking him. It was licking his face, whimpering with joy, and rubbing its giant head against his chest. Androcles looked closely at the magnificent beast and gasped. It was his lion, the very same one he had helped in the cave. It had recognized him. The entire Colosseum, including the emperor himself, fell into a stunned silence. They had come to see a brutal spectacle, but instead they were witnessing an unbelievable display of friendship and gratitude between a man and a wild beast. The crowd was so moved by what they saw. Androcles was brought before the emperor, who demanded to know the story behind this miracle. Androcles explained everything: his escape, the cave, the thorn, and the friendship that had formed. The emperor was so astonished and touched by the tale of compassion and loyalty that he did something unprecedented. He declared that justice had been served in a way no one could have expected. He granted Androcles his freedom. And not only that, he declared that the lion should be freed as well. The story ends with Androcles and his lion walking out of the Colosseum together. No longer a slave and a beast, but two friends, free to live their lives in peace. It's a powerful story, isn't it? It reminds us that no act of kindness, no matter how small or how scary it might seem at the time, is ever wasted. It teaches us that compassion can build bridges where we least expect them, and that gratitude can return to us in the most surprising and wonderful ways. The world can often feel like a Colosseum, but a little bit of empathy can change everything. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this story brought a little bit of warmth to your day. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more stories and thoughts. I love hearing from you, so please share your own stories of unexpected kindness in the comments below. Until next time, take care, be kind, and I'll see you in the next video.